Hey everybody, Kartik Subramaniam here. I wanted to take a second to tell you 5 things that I wish that someone told me before I got in the real estate business about what our real estate business is like and what our industry is like. The first thing I wrote down here is that your broker will train you and your broker will supervise you, but lead generation really is something that you're going to have to do on your own. No broker out there, very few brokers out there are actually going to provide you with leads. That's something that you'll need to do all on your own. And a lot of people have a little bit of a mental problem understanding that our job is largely a sales job and the broker is not going to hand you any leads. And if the broker does hand you a lead, in the majority of instances, they're going to take a big referral fee for giving you that lead. So the first thing is that lead generation is something that we have to embrace on our own as individual real estate agents. The second thing that I wrote down is that you're going to have to put money away for taxes. Because we're treated as independent contractors, brokers don't withhold any tax money from us. So what happens to most real estate agents, at least at some point in their career, is they have either a small or large tax issue because they forget to sock away money for taxes. So a good rule of thumb for me, if you're making, let's say, less than $150,000 a year, I would highly recommend putting at least 20% away for taxes in a rainy day fund and make it be a discipline for you. Every time you get a check, you have 2 accounts open, one that's a general account, one that's a tax account, and you put 20% of every commission check you make in there. Now, if you're making a lot more than 150 or 3, 4, 5, 600 or $1 million a year, it's very important to have a CPA that you're paying your quarterlies on, and you don't get a snowball effect where you rack up a huge tax bill. So putting away money for taxes requires discipline, and that's something that I think every new person coming into our business should know. The third thing I wrote down is that other real estate agents, frankly, can be a distraction. A lot of real estate agents are super fun and extroverted and they like to have a good time and go to lunch and have a couple drinks after work, but most of the time hanging out with a lot of other real estate agents is probably going to distract you from your core business of selling real estate. Trust me, no other real estate agent is going to ever give you a lead, right? They're going to work those leads on their own. So it's important to have friends. I'm not saying to be on an island, but it's super important to remember if you're getting into the office and one agent complains about how bad the market is, another agent wants to go to lunch, and then someone wants to go to happy hour, you'll have a lot of friends that are realtors, but you'll be broke at the end of the year. So other agents, for the most part, can be a distraction. Again, when I wrote this down, I didn't want it to come off like I was saying not to hang out with other real estate agents because 90% of my friends are in the real estate business. But know that during business hours, you're there to work, not to socialize. If you want to hang out, after work or on a weekend, that's one thing, but make sure you have discipline through your workday and make sure you're plowing ahead, looking forward to hanging out at the end of the day, not making the whole day a social time. The fourth thing I wrote down is that all the expenses really are on the shoulders of the individual realtor. So your broker is not going to pay your MLS dues, your broker is not going to give you a car allowance, your broker is most likely not going to buy you lunch every day, right? So it's super important to remember that when you get into the real estate business, it's just that it's a business. The expenses, the burden, all of that falls on our own individual shoulders. And that's a pretty big shift if you're coming from corporate America. If you've got a regular job someplace and you're working overtime, you get paid time and a half, and you might get a lunch allowance or a car allowance if you're driving far for work, but that doesn't happen in the real estate business. All the expenses are on the shoulders of the agent, even down to advertising. How it used to work in the 90s is that the broker might pay for some of your advertising and they might pay for your business cards and pay for your for sale sign to be put up in the yard, but you'd be on a 50 or 60% commission split. Now, all those expenses are on our shoulders as individual agents, but the splits are higher. You could be a horrible salesperson and get a 70, 75% commission split just starting off. So you'll get paid more money. Some companies even have 100% plans. But know that if they're giving you 100% of the commission, they can't put out all that money. When I say they, I mean the broker. The broker can't put out all that money paying for your expenses. Remember, the expenses are on our own shoulders as independent contractor realtors. And the last thing I wrote down from the 5 things that I wish someone told me when I got into the real estate business is that it'll take time. I am by my very nature an impatient person. And I'm working on that, right? It's a lifelong struggle. I'm not very patient. So for me, I want things to happen now. Every week or every month, I need 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 deals closing. I need more and more, which it's important to slow down, hit the brakes sometimes, or at least coast off the gas and understand it's going to take time. Warren Buffett famously said, you can't produce a baby in 1 month by getting 9 women pregnant. Don't try that at home, kids, right? Don't do that. But the point is that some things just take time. So just embrace the process. It doesn't have to happen overnight, but the person you become after 2, 3, 5, 10 years in our business, helping people buy and sell real estate, that's the real joy in our business. Just understand it'll take time. Don't forget to share this video if you are a new or seasoned real estate agent and you might need to hear these things again. I'd love for you to follow me on Instagram, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.